What if I told you that the most terrifying Evil Dead movie isn't the one everyone talks about, but the one that takes the franchise's nightmare to an entirely new level? Today we're diving deep into Evil Dead Burn, a film that pushes the series' brutal horror, relentless violence, and psychological terror further than ever before. But is it truly worthy of carrying the Evil Dead legacy, or is it just another gore-filled horror movie hiding behind a famous name? In this review, we'll break down every major moment, explore the story without missing the hidden details, analyze the unforgettable horror sequences, explain the ending, and reveal whether this movie deserves a place among the best entries in the franchise. There are shocking twists, disturbing deadite moments, and subtle references that many viewers completely overlooked. So stay with me until the very end, because the final chapter may completely change the way you see this movie. If you're a fan of horror cinema and love deep movie breakdowns, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's step into the nightmare together. The Evil Dead franchise has never been known for playing it safe. Since its humble beginnings, the series has earned a legendary reputation for blending supernatural horror, relentless gore, and dark humor into an unforgettable experience. Every new installment has tried to reinvent the formula while staying true to the terrifying idea of the Deadites, evil forces that possess ordinary people and transform them into merciless monsters. Evil Dead Burn continues that tradition but chooses a darker, more intense direction. Instead of relying only on excessive violence or cheap jump scares, the film builds a constant feeling of dread, making the audience believe that no character is ever truly safe. From the opening moments, the atmosphere is heavy, unsettling, and filled with small details that quietly hint at the nightmare waiting to unfold. Every location feels isolated. Every sound creates tension, and every strange event pushes the characters closer to an unavoidable confrontation with an ancient evil. This approach allows the movie to balance brutal horror with psychological suspense, creating an experience that feels both familiar to longtime fans and fresh enough to surprise newcomers. Before the story fully descends into chaos, the film carefully establishes its world, encouraging viewers to lower their guard, only to shatter that sense of security when the true horror finally reveals itself. One of the movie's biggest strengths is the way it introduces its characters before unleashing the horror. Instead of rushing straight into bloodshed, Evil Dead Burn spends time establishing the relationships, fears, and personal struggles of the people at the center of the story. At first, everything feels almost normal, allowing the audience to connect with the characters and understand their motivations. That emotional foundation makes the terrifying moments far more effective because every loss and every terrifying transformation carries real weight. As strange events begin to unfold, the tension rises little by little. Unexplained noises, disturbing visions, and unsettling discoveries create a sense that something ancient and malicious has awakened. The movie doesn't reveal all of its secrets at once. Instead, it slowly tightens the psychological pressure until both the characters and the audience realize there is no escape. Once the Deadites appear, the film shifts into relentless survival horror, delivering brutal attacks, shocking twists, and moments that are both horrifying and emotionally devastating. Even longtime fans of the franchise may find themselves caught off guard by how quickly the situation spirals out of control. This steady buildup is what makes the horror so effective, proving that genuine fear comes not only from graphic violence but also from the unbearable suspense of waiting for the inevitable nightmare to begin. Without revealing any of the movie's biggest surprises, Evil Dead Burn tells a straightforward yet suspenseful story that gradually transforms into a terrifying battle against an unstoppable supernatural force. The film begins by introducing a group of ordinary people who find themselves trapped in a situation they never expected. What starts as a seemingly normal gathering slowly becomes unsettling as strange events begin to occur, creating an atmosphere filled with mystery and constant tension. Instead of rushing into the horror, the movie carefully builds suspense through eerie sounds, disturbing imagery, and subtle clues that something ancient and deeply evil has been awakened. As the story progresses, every discovery pushes the characters closer to into a nightmare they cannot escape. The fear doesn't come only from what is shown on screen, but also from the uncertainty of what might happen next. The pacing remains steady, allowing the audience to connect with the characters before the chaos begins. Even viewers familiar with the Evil Dead franchise will find themselves questioning where the story is heading, as the film introduces fresh ideas while respecting the classic elements that made the series famous. Without giving away any major plot twists, it's safe to say that this movie focuses on survival, trust, and the terrifying consequences of confronting an evil that refuses to die. If you're planning to watch it, experiencing the story without knowing the major reveals will make the journey far more intense and rewarding. One of the film's most impressive qualities is the way it creates fear through its visual style and atmosphere. Rather than depending entirely on loud jump scares, the camera lingers on dark hallways, empty rooms, and unsettling corners of the screen, making viewers constantly search for hidden danger. The lighting plays a major role, with shadows and dim environments creating a feeling that evil could emerge from anywhere at any moment. The sound design is equally effective, using eerie silence, distorted voices, and sudden audio cues to keep the tension high throughout the experience. Combined with intense makeup effects and disturbing creature designs, the horror feels raw and relentless instead of overly polished. Even during quieter scenes, there's an overwhelming sense of unease that never truly disappears. This balance between suspense and shocking horror helps the movie maintain a gripping pace, making each frightening moment feel earned rather than predictable. Whether you're a longtime fan of supernatural horror or simply enjoy tense psychological thrillers, the film's atmosphere remains one of its strongest and most memorable aspects. A horror movie can have incredible visual effects and terrifying monsters, but without believable characters, the emotional impact is often lost. One of the strongest aspects of Evil Dead Burn is the effort it makes to give its characters distinct personalities and believable reactions to the terrifying events unfolding around them. Instead of acting like fearless heroes, they respond with panic, confusion, and desperation, making their decisions feel more human. As the danger grows, friendships are tested, trust begins to disappear, and every character is forced to confront their deepest fears. These emotional moments add weight to the horror, making each confrontation feel more intense because the audience has spent enough time getting to know the people involved. The performances also help maintain the film's suspense, with fear, grief, and determination portrayed in a way that keeps viewers invested. While some supporting characters have limited screen time, they still contribute to the story's overall tension and atmosphere. By balancing emotional storytelling with relentless horror, the film ensures that the scares are not only shocking but also meaningful, giving the audience a reason to care about who survives and what is ultimately at stake. Like every horror film, Evil Dead Burn has its strengths as well as a few noticeable weaknesses. On the positive side, the movie succeeds in creating a tense atmosphere from beginning to end, with impressive visuals, unsettling sound design, and horror sequences that keep the audience engaged. The practical effects and creature designs feel disturbing and memorable, while the steady pacing allows the suspense to build naturally before the chaos unfolds. The performances also help sell the emotional weight of the story, making the characters feel more believable during terrifying situations. However, the film isn't without flaws. Some viewers may feel that a few supporting characters could have been developed further, and certain story elements may seem familiar to longtime fans of the franchise. A handful of scenes also rely on horror cliches that experienced viewers might predict. Even with these minor issues, the movie delivers a satisfying horror experience by focusing on suspense, atmosphere, and relentless supernatural terror rather than relying only on excessive gore. Overall, Evil Dead Burn delivers an intense horror experience that stays true to the spirit of the franchise while attempting to introduce a darker and more suspenseful atmosphere. Although it has a few predictable moments and some minor storytelling flaws, its strong horror sequences, creepy visuals, and constant tension make it an entertaining watch for fans of supernatural horror. If you're looking for a movie packed with frightening moments, unsettling atmosphere, and brutal survival horror, this is definitely worth checking out. It may not be perfect, but it succeeds in delivering the kind of nightmare that horror fans expect from an Evil Dead film. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss future movie reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.